All right, so here's a better view of the tractor. It's the old John Deere 1050. And that lever I was talking about is right here. As you can see, it is missing the knob. Now, all these other levers have plastic knobs, but we're going to make one out of aluminum. I guess I could 3D print one, but I'd much rather it be aluminum for this case. I went ahead and cleaned the threads up. It looked like it was a M10 by 1.5, so I ran a little dye over it, just knocked some of that rust out of there. And I found us a piece of stock, and I don't know if you could hear it just a second ago, but it just dropped off the saw. Right here it is. Just a nice piece of aluminum stock that will go in the lathe and we'll make a little knob. The lathe, or the piece of equipment I should say that we're going to be using, is this nice little blonde Regal 14 by 60 manual lathe. It's got a nice 3-jaw chuck on it. It'll be perfect for what we're doing. We're not doing anything real precise. I do have a 4-jaw though if we ever had to dial in something perfect, but for this little knob, this 3-jaw chuck will work. Very nice lathe. I've made a lot of parts on this piece of equipment. All right, so I'm gonna put the phone in my little tripod here. That way I can free up my hands and we'll get this going. All right. Now look, I'm wearing a jacket. It's cold out here. I know you shouldn't be wearing long sleeves. If it bothers you, go watch something else, but I'm wearing my jacket for the time being. All right, so I'm going to chuck up on about an inch. Maybe, yeah, inch and a half. All right. Now, when I turn this phase converter on, it's going to get a little loud, so we'll see how this sounds after I go back and watch the video. I don't have a 3-phase power out here to the shop, so I've got a phase converter that allows me to have 3-phase power. So it's kind of loud. So we'll see how that goes. We'll go kick it on. All right, so it's on. All right, so what I'm gonna do right now is I'm just gonna face it. This is just a little piece of 6061 aluminum. I'll zoom in here so y'all can see. So all I did was just take a nice face cut on there. All right. This piece of stock is 1 3/4 inches. Let me measure one of these other handles real quick. All right, so I think 1.5 inches is going to be about the right size, diameter-wise. All right, so we're going to start turning. All right, so I'm right here on the edge. I'm going to lay me out a 2-inch mark. And this is just a reference of how far back I'm going to want to turn. All right. Got the automatic feed on. This is just going to be a simple handle. I keep saying handle, I mean knob. I'm just going to put a big nice chamfer on the front of it. Turn it down to 1.5 inch diameter. We're going to either part it off or saw it to length and then face the back side. And then we'll drill and tap for the M10 by 1.5 threaded holes so it'll screw on that high and low lever. All right, I'm coming up on my mark. Back it out. Come in a little bit. I'll take a little heavier cut this time. Adjust my camera here so you can see a little bit better. I am wearing safety glasses, as you can see. Aluminum chips are flying everywhere. They're not hot, so it's not like they're burning me, but it definitely hurt to get hit in the eye. All right. Looking good so far. Take a quick measurement. All right, so we got about 100 thousandths to go. I'm going to take all 100 thousandths in one cut here. Knock this chip off here. All right. We should be at 1.5 inches. Oh yeah. Like 1 inch, 502 thousandths. That's completely fine for this handle. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop in my chamfer tool. And we'll put a nice big 45-degree chamfer on the front of this. All right, so now what this tool is going to do is going to put a big bevel. Let me zoom in so y'all can see. All right, I don't know if y'all can see that or not. All right. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this same tool and I am going to cut a couple grooves on the OD for a little bit of grip and a little bit of decoration. So what I'm doing with this indicator is this will help me evenly space the grooves that I'm putting on here. All right. I'm going to do 1/4 inch spacing. Okay. Reset this. Okay. Okay. All right. Bring the camera over here so you can kind of see a little bit better. But all I did was turn the OD, chamfer it, put some nice grooves on here. Turn this phase converter off. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to unchuck this thing and I'm going to flip it around and put it in the saw. And I'm going to cut it off and then we'll put it back in the lathe and we'll face the back side and then we'll drill and tap for the M10 by 1.5. So You guys hang tight for a second. All right, so I got her flipped around in the saw, and we're gonna go ahead and cut this somewhat close to length, and then we'll put it in the lathe, and like I said, we'll face the back side and drill and tap it. All right, while that is sawing, I'm gonna go ahead and put my other turning tool back in here. It's the tool I'm going to use to face the back side. Also, while we're waiting, I'm going to go ahead and load up my drill, correct size for M10. It's an 8.5 millimeter. All right, get that tightened up. All right, so I went ahead and sawed it off. You can see that ugly saw finish, and I'm sure it's a little crooked. So we're going to stick it in here and face the back. Something like that. Tighten it up. I'm going to kick the phase converter on. All right. Facing the back. And make sure it's zoomed in where y'all can see it. All right. A little bit more. All right, I'm going to chamfer the back side too so it don't have a sharp edge. All right. I don't know if y'all can see that. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to drill our hole for our tap. I'm going to go probably about an inch deep. Get those chips out of there. All right. Now before we tap, let me zoom out here. Now before we tap, I'm going to change this drill out and put a 90-degree countersink in here. That way the tap's got a nice edge to lead in on. Tighten this down. All right. I'll zoom in there so y'all can see that. I'll slide that back. There you go. All right, so now we're ready to tap. We've got the countersink out of there. I'm going to pop our tap in. Tighten her up. Zoom out here a little bit so y'all can see. All right, so I've just got a little bit of coral here that I'm going to spray in the hole. And then on the tap, back this out of the way. I'm going to run this up, and then I'm going to just kind of manually tap it. I'm just turning the chuck by hand, and it's pulling the tap in. All right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen the chuck up, back this out of the way. I'm going to grab me my tap handle. If I can find it. All right. I had to round up my tap handle. All right. So now we can finish tapping her to depth. This aluminum tap's super easy, so not a problem here. Make sure y'all can see all this. Yeah. All right. Okay. Back that out of the way. And then now we should have some nice threads in there. Come on. Lay that right there for a second. All right, so there it is. Also aluminum knob. And there it is. Not too bad. Thanks for watching.